So if I asked you to name like the loudest, most confident, maybe even the most intimidating voice in Hollywood history, you would probably have a pretty quick answer.
Yeah, I mean, you would almost certainly say Samuel L. Jackson.
Right. Exactly. But what if I told you that the man behind that booming $27 billion cinematic voice actually spent his childhood physically unable to speak?
It's it's the ultimate paradox, really, because when you look at his Wikipedia biography, you don't see this traditional, carefully curated Hollywood timeline,
Oh, not at all.
right? You see this absolute masterclass in career judo. I mean, he has consistently taken these massive obstacles like severe stutter, systemic racism, addiction, even corporate copyright infringement, and he just uses the sheer weight of those obstacles to flip the entire system in his favor.
Which is wild, and welcome to the deep dive, by the way. Today, we're taking you along for a ride into the incredibly unorthodox life of Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, it is quite the ride.
It really is. Our mission here is to figure out exactly how a kid from the segregated South managed to reverse engineer the power dynamics of the entertainment industry.
Right.
Like, how does he become the highest grossing lead actor of all time?
Right, and it starts way before the movies.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this because to really understand the legend, we have to look at the glitch in his early neurology.
Yeah, so he was born in Washington, D.C., but he was actually raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And his early life was really marked by absence.
Hmm.
His father struggled with alcoholism and lived in Kansas City, and Jackson only met him twice his entire life. But the defining hurdle of his childhood was a debilitating stutter.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a minor stutter. It was so severe that he practically stopped speaking altogether for almost a year.
Right, and he didn't cure it by, sitting in some speech therapy clinic doing standard vocal exercises. He developed a workaround.
He realized that the stutter was actually tied to his own identity. So if he pretended to be other people like people who didn't stutter, he could speak fluently.
Which is fascinating.
Hmm.
He was literally forced to embody other characters just to communicate his basic needs to the world.
Right, which completely reframes his entire profession.
Absolutely. He was learning the fundamental mechanics of acting, but not for applause or for a school play. It was for basic survival. It was a functional necessity.
It's like he discovered a cheat code for his own neurology.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And he coupled that with another really famous workaround. He found a specific word that helped him push through those neurological speech blocks, a word he actually still uses today.
Oh, yes. A very specific profanity.
Yeah, the one that starts with an M. He essentially used a curse word as a literal software patch to bypass a glitch in his speech.
And he still uses it to this day to reset his speech patterns. But, the drive to assert his voice definitely didn't stop at overcoming his stutter.
No, it got much bigger.
Right. When he went to Morehouse College in Atlanta in the late 1960s, the entire country was finding his voice. And he initially went there to study marine biology, of all things.
Wait, really? Marine biology?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he switched to architecture and eventually landed on drama. But, I mean, you can't be a black student in Atlanta in the late 60s without being pulled into the gravity of the civil rights movement.
Especially when Martin Luther King Jr. is assassinated in 1968. Jackson doesn't just, watch this happen on the evening news.
Right. He is right there.
Yeah, he literally attends King's funeral in Atlanta as an usher. And then he immediately gets on a plane to Memphis, Tennessee, to march in the equal rights protests that King had been leading.
He was angry. I mean, he felt that peaceful coexistence just wasn't going to bring about the systemic change that was necessary at that time.
Yeah.
And that anger culminated in this massive high-stakes escalation in 1969. Jackson and a group of several other students took direct action at Morehouse College.
And when you say direct action, we aren't talking about like a sit-in on the campus squad with some signs.
No, they wanted curriculum reform and more black representation on the school's board of trustees, so they physically locked the doors and held the members of the board hostage.
They literally chained the doors.
Yep, chain them shut. And to fully understand the historical weight of this moment, you have to realize that one of the board members they locked in that building was Martin Luther King Sr.
Wow. That is an unbelievable intersection of history, just sitting in that room.
It really is.
But there is a massive reality check that comes with pulling a stunt like that. I mean, you don't just hold a board of trustees hostage and then, casually go back to your morning classes the next day.
Oh, absolutely not. So while the college did eventually concede to some of their demands and change its policy, the legal system stepped in.
Right.
Jackson was charged with and convicted of unlawful confinement. That is a second-degree felony.
A felony.
Yeah.
And Morehouse suspended him for 2 years, which 2 years in the late 1960s is an eternity.
Oh, yeah, the whole world was shifting.
Exactly. And during that suspension, his radicalization only deepens. He starts meeting with really prominent Black power leaders, guys like Stokely Carmichael and H. Rap Brown.
He is fully immersing himself in the militant wing of the movement at this point.
But then a very stark warning completely derails everything.
Right. His mother received a visit from the FBI, and they gave her this chillingly specific warning. They said if her son stayed involved with these militant groups, he would be dead within a year.
Wow, that is terrifying.
It is. So she didn't hesitate. She packed his bags and put him on a plane to Los Angeles just to get him out of the blast radius.
Which creates a really fascinating psychological dilemma for him, right?
How so?
Well, he had finally found his voice. He had a movement to channel his incredible rebellious fire into. And suddenly he is just exiled from his own revolution. That energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah, that's a great point. And when a fire that intense doesn't have an external target, it turns inward.
It becomes destructive.
Exactly. That displacement ultimately leads him to the New York theater scene by about 1976. He's acting, he's touring, but he is just completely untethered.
The New York years sound absolutely grueling. I mean, to survive between stage plays and auditions, he's working as an overnight security guard at the Manhattan Plaza apartment complex.
Right. And this is where that inward burning fire becomes deeply destructive. He develops severe substance abuse issues.
And it escalated quickly, didn't it?
It did. It started with alcohol, escalated to heroin, which he actually overdosed on multiple times, and eventually transitioned into a severe cocaine addiction.
God.
And this wasn't just, a functional habit. It actively derailed his career. He premiered 2 massive August Wilson plays at the Yale Repertory Theater.
Oh, the piano lesson and 2 trains running, right?
Exactly. But because of his addiction, he couldn't take them to Broadway. Other actors ended up taking his roles.
He was watching his own potential just dissolve. It's that tragic Hollywood cliche we've seen like 100 times.
Yeah.
But thankfully, his family stages an intervention. He goes into a New York rehab clinic to dry out, and the timing of his exit from that clinic is just, it's nothing short of cinematic.
What's fascinating here is the sheer audacity of his very first move out of rehab. About a week or so after his discharge in 1991, he is cast in Spike Lee's film Jungle Fever,
And his character.
a crack cocaine addict.
See, I have to push back on the romanticized Hollywood comeback narrative that usually surrounds this story.
Oh, for sure.
Because people act like it was this triumphant return to form. But this wasn't that. This was a man stepping out of a clinic where he was literally fighting for his actual life and walking directly onto a movie set to play his own worst demon. That is a tightrope walk over an active volcano.
It really is. It is the ultimate artistic alchemy. He took his absolute darkest, most destructive personal failure, stripped away all that theatrical polish, and just transmuted it into raw, lived authenticity.
He actually called the experience cathartic, which is wild to me.
Yeah, and the result was so undeniably powerful that it broke the rules of global cinema.
Literally broke the rules.
Yeah.
Because the jury at the 1991 Cannes Film Festival literally invented a special supporting actor award just to give it to him.
Right.
They had to create an entirely new category to acknowledge what he did on that screen.
Because it was that undeniable.
Yeah.
And that moment is the pivot. He proved that his true value wasn't in playing by the traditional rules of acting. It was in bringing his unvarnished reality into the fiction.
Yeah.
And having survived his own self-destruction, he suddenly had zero fear of the Hollywood machine. He started actively hacking the blockbuster system.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because he doesn't just use that jungle fever momentum to, get slightly bigger paychecks. He uses it to dictate terms. Jump to 1994, Pulp Fiction. Quentin Tarantino writes the role of Jules Winfield specifically for him. He gets an Oscar nomination, a BAFTA win, and just attains massive global clout.
Massive.
And look at what he does with that clout when George Lucas calls him in 1999.
Right, so he's cast as Jedi Master Mace Windu in the Star Wars prequels. And Lucas has this massive, dusty battle scene planned for Attack of the Clones on the planet Geonosis.
Right, the arena scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are going to be dozens of Jedis in the arena, all swinging standard blue or green lightsabers. Jackson looks at the logistics of this scene and realizes he's just going to blend right into the background.
So he actively suggests to George Lucas, the creator of the entire universe, mind you, that he gets a purple lightsaber, just so he can spot himself in the crowd.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, The purple lightsaber isn't just a quirky, funny request on a movie set.
No.
It is a masterclass in personal branding and leverage. He is ensuring that in a sea of visual noise, the audience's eye is magnetically drawn directly to him. He hacked the visual language of Star Wars.
Which is brilliant. Just brilliant. But I think his absolute masterpiece of leverage has to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, without a doubt.
Let's look at the mechanics of what happened here. In 2002, Marvel Comics is running their Ultimate imprint.
Which was designed to reboot classic characters, ground them in this gritty cinematic realism.
Right. So writer Mark Millar and his artist are redesigning Nick Fury. And instead of creating a new face, they literally draw Nick Fury to look exactly like Samuel L. Jackson.
Without a contract, without a phone call, without his consent. It is a blatant, unauthorized use of a celebrity likeness by a major corporation.
Exactly. And Jackson, who happens to be a massive comic book nerd, by the way, is literally just buying comics one day, opens the book, and sees his own face staring back at him.
Can you imagine?
It's like walking down the street, finding your face on a giant corporate billboard selling a product without your permission, and instead of calling a lawyer for a massive financial payout, you walk right into the boardroom and demand to be made a senior partner.
Yeah, because Jackson's agents do contact Marvel, but they realize that a one-time copyright infringement settlement is thinking small.
Right.
Demanding a stake in the company's future is thinking big.
Right.
So they secure a pledge from Marvel.
Yeah.
If Nick Fury is ever adapted for the silver screen, Samuel L. Jackson gets the role. No auditions, no questions asked.
And that single piece of leverage translates into a massive, unprecedented 9-picture deal, starting with Iron Man in 2008.
It's incredible.
He essentially architects his own ubiquity, and he does it with wild versatility. I mean, he's dominating Marvel, he's in Star Wars, he's the absolute muse for Tarantino.
And simultaneously, he's starring alongside massive hip-hop icons.
Yes, Tupac and Juice, Method Man in 187, Snoop Dogg. He crosses every conceivable cultural boundary.
And the financial mechanics of this strategy are staggering. His films have grossed over $27 billion worldwide across 152 movies.
27 billion.
He is the highest-grossing lead actor in the history of cinema. The only person technically ahead of him is Stan Lee, and that is purely a statistical anomaly due to Lee's brief cameos in the Marvel films.
$27 billion. And what really fascinates me is how he handles that unprecedented megastar status. Because we are so used to the PR-trained, humble brag actor interviews, you know.
Oh, yeah. I never watch my own movies.
Exactly. They stare at the floor and say, oh, I just can't bear to look at my own face on screen. Jackson completely shatters that polite Hollywood etiquette.
He refuses to perform false humility. He buys a ticket, he gets his popcorn, and he goes to the theater to watch his own work.
I love that.
Right? He collects action figures of his own characters. Jules, Shaft, Mace Windu, Frozone. He operates from a place of pure, unapologetic enjoyment.
And why shouldn't he? Why do we expect artists to hate their own art? Jackson understands the audience because he is his own target audience.
Exactly.
His success isn't an accident. He is literally making the exact movies he wants to sit in a dark room and watch. And he builds the logistics of his life around what makes him happy, like the legendary golf clause.
Oh, this is where his leverage just peaks. He loves golf so much that he has a specific clause written into his movie contracts allowing him to play during film shoots.
I mean, the confidence to demand that.
Right, and how that works practically is astounding. It's not just a polite request for a day off. He ensures that multi-million-dollar, highly complex production schedules are literally structured around his tea times.
He does not compromise, not on his schedule and not on his image. Back in 1996, he was filming The Great White Hype. He noticed his hair was thinning, and rather than doing a Hollywood comb-over or getting transplants, he just shaved his head bald.
Total control of it.
Yeah. Now he controls his look completely, picking out his own wigs and hairstyles for every character he plays.
He curates every aspect of his existence. And he remains deeply, actively engaged with the world outside of Hollywood, too. Like in 2019, he took a DNA test that linked his ancestry to the Benga people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he didn't just, frame the results for his living room. He actually traveled to Africa and became a naturalized citizen of Gabon.
He just never stops moving. Even now, he's a massive cultural force. I mean, he appeared in the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl LIX halftime show in 2025 as Uncle Sam. And to be clear, we are just laying out the facts from the sources here, not taking any political sides. But he did actively engage in the 2024 political cycle by endorsing Kamala Harris.
Right.
And he's still headlining new television, like with his upcoming 2025 Paramount Plus series, Noella King.
He is operating with a level of freedom, success, and just eccentric joy that is practically unmatched in the history of the medium.
Okay, let's step back and look at the entire scope of this deep dive. We started with a kid in the segregated South who literally had to pretend to be other people just to bypass a neurological stutter.
Yeah.
We watched him become a militant civil rights activist who risked a felony conviction and his own life. We followed him into the grueling depths of addiction as a New York security guard.
All of those different lives.
Right. And we watched him walk out of rehab, transmute that darkness into an award at Cannes, and hack the Blockbuster system to become a $27 billion cinematic titan who demands his own purple lightsaber and plays golf whenever he wants.
This is an incredible trajectory.
So what does this all mean?
Well, I think this raises an important question for anyone trying to build something lasting. We live in an era where professionals are endlessly coached and sanitized. We are told to hide our flaws, to smooth out our rough edges, and to suppress our strange quirks so we can fit neatly into a corporate or social mold.
Yeah, constantly.
Samuel L. Jackson's life proves that the exact opposite approach is often the true key to longevity. What if the things you are told to suppress, your anger at the status quo, your past mistakes, your eccentricities, or even your stutter, are actually the raw materials for your greatest leverage?
He didn't succeed in spite of his chaotic foundation. He succeeded because he used every single piece of it to build his own leverage. He used the sheer weight of his obstacles to flip the system.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. I hope you take a page out of Mr. Jackson's book today. Don't hide your quirks. Demand exactly what you're worth and whatever it is you are building. Take a moment to sit back unapologetically and enjoy your own hard work.
And when you finally look at your own finished product, never forget to appreciate the muddy waters it rose from.